Guitar One plays an R&B rhythm approach in the verse section. Let's see it up close.
I don't have plans and schemes. I don't have hopes and dreams. I don't have anything since I don't have you. Desires. I don't have happy hours. I don't have anything since I don't have happiness, and I can't.
All right, so now we're on the electric guitar. We've gone from that high gain lead sound to a more medium crunch sound or a light crunch sound. And we're gonna place a different style of rhythm guitar than what the acoustic guitar is doing, which is mostly strumming and arpeggiating the chord progression. What we're gonna do is just outline the chord progression with some sharp staccato strums, okay? And the way to think of it, where they happen, is actually when the snare drum hits, and that's known as the backbeat. We're just accenting the backbeat of the song. So what we're gonna do is grab some triads based on the chord progression, and we're just gonna do these sharp staccato strums. Okay? Very R&B styled type of rhythm part right here. Okay? I'm grabbing a G triad here. I've got the 9th fret of the D, 7th fret of the G, 8th fret of the B string. And I'm also barring down because I don't mind if I get the higher note in there on the high E string 7th fret. Okay? All right? And you want to hit it aggressively. And then as soon as it sounds, you want to simultaneously, with your right hand, clamp down on the strings to dampen it, but also with your left hand, you want to lift off, not the strings, but lift off the frets. Okay? Okay? All right, so we've got this G chord, and we're going to hit that twice. Okay, we're going to hit it on the 4th beat, and we're going to hit it on the 10th beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay? So we're hitting that twice, doing it nice and sharp, a little bit aggressive. Okay? Then it changes to C minor, so I'm grabbing the 10th fret on the D and I'm barring down on the 8th fret of the G, B, and high E strings. Okay? Just one on that. And then it goes to a D major chord. So I'm going to bar down on the 7th fret of the D, G, and B strings. Okay? On this one, it's a little bit different. He holds this one longer and then slides it up. Okay? So when you put it all together, it looks like this. Okay? So we're going to repeat that one more time. And then the chord progression changes a little bit. So we're going to continue in this vein, but we're just going to adjust it for the chord progression. Hit the G twice. Now it's C minor twice. Now it's down to A minor twice. Okay, and then we're going to do that descending riff that follows the chords down from D all the way to G. Okay? What I'm using to do this is octaves on the low E and D strings. I'm grabbing 10 and 12 on the low E and then the D string. Okay, of course I'm muting the A string so it doesn't sound out. Okay? So a couple strums there. Then down 2 frets to C. Then down 1 fret to B, and then another 2 frets to A. Okay, leads us from the D chord back to the G chord. All right, so that's your complete verse part. There are going to be some variations, but before we get to that, I want to talk a little bit about the second half of the intro after the lead is finished and the drums come in. Now you're going to be holding a D note, okay, with some vibrato. And at some point that's going to die out and you're going to want to transition into rhythm. So you're going to click off your lead sound and start establishing that sharp staccato rhythm idea that we carry through in the verse sections. So usually where I'll pick it up is there's an A minor chord going to a C major chord, and then the chord progression changes again after that. And so I'll pick it up by grabbing the A minor chord and then the C major chord. Okay, this time I'm grabbing a major shape in the 8th position. I've got 10, 9, 8, and 8 from the D, G, B, and E strings. Okay? And then the chord progression starts again, and we've got a G major. So we're grabbing this familiar shape, 7th position. Okay, we're going to do one shot on that. Then it goes to an E minor. So all I'm going to do is add a note in. I'm going to add this E note to the shape at the 9th fret of the G string. Okay, that's the upper part of an E minor bar chord. Okay, and just hit a really quick strum there. Then it goes back to G, so I'll use our G chord shape. Okay. Then it goes to a C major. All right. And then it goes to an A minor. All right. So we're looking like this. E minor, G, C, down to A minor, and then another one on A minor. And then we come in with this descending lick that goes from D down to G. So it's using octaves, just like we did in the verse. Okay, that gets us into the verse section. All right, let's talk about the second verse. It's pretty much identical, except we're adding in a little bit of an embellishment that's really cool. And it's based off the G chord. We hit the first one staccato, little staccato strum like usual. Then we're going to add in a little riff here. Okay, so based off this G chord, now I'm grabbing 7 and 8 on the G and B strings, and I'm hammering on from 7 to 9 on the G, and then going back to 7 on the G while holding the 8th fret of the B string. Okay, then I'm holding down the 7th fret on the D and G, and I'm doing a similar lick. I'm hammering on from 7 to 9 on the D, and then back to 7. And then sliding in to the C minor shape, okay, which is 10th fret of the D and then barring down on 8 for the upper strings. Okay, so putting it all together. Okay, so just sliding in that little riff in between the staccato strums. So look out for that in the second verse, and I believe it happens one time in the third verse, just to get a little bit of spice there. One more small note about the second verse. It actually is shorter than all the other verses because it goes into the bridge at a weird time. So I want to show you where it goes into the bridge. We're going to do 2 staccato strums on the G, and then it's when we do the 2 strums on the C minor. And then normally we would go to A minor in the verse, but we actually transition into the bridge at that point. So look out for that. It's in the second verse, going to the bridge a little bit early. Now that we've broken down guitar 1 in the verse, let's play through it slowly.